Okay. John, how long has this farm been in your family?
I'm the third generation, and actually it goes back to the 1850s. It was a different name, but it's basically the same family. It was Van Ostrens.
What made you decide to follow the family traditions of dairy farming?
Uh, when I was a little kid, actually 4 or 5 years old, riding tractors with Dad, uh, just something that got into my blood, and I totally enjoy it. And it's actually not work; it's fun. So just being able to grow grow crops, feed cows, and make milk, I just enjoy it.
If you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
Uh, Probably working on another farm someplace, or driving a milk truck, or something along the agricultural lines. Or one of the things I went to college for was the business end of it, just in case I ever got physically injured where I couldn't do the manual labor, I could still help out financially or offer uh, efficiency solutions, building solutions, equipment, sales, and stuff like that on farm equipment. So I'd be in the agricultural field someplace.
Well, it sounds like farming's in your blood.
Yep, it's in your blood, and I do have one relative, my grandmother's sister. She said that farming's not an occupation; it's a disease. Once you get it in your blood, you can't get rid of it. And it's pretty much true. Everybody I've seen involved in it, someplace they got to get back into it, do it all over again, one way or another. If they get out, or they'll become a backyard farmer, or work for a farmer part time, things along that line. Kind of like Uncle Pete. He's kind of semi-retired, but he's got to be here every day to keep it going.
Well,
So,
that's certainly a family tradition.
yep, it's family tradition. But when I was a kid, there was no pressure to do it. It's if you want to, good. If you don't, well, so be it. Do what you want to do, and we understand. So growing up, we got indoctrinated to it. But if you liked it, good. If you didn't, well, go do what you got to do. So a couple of my family members, they pursued other things, but it always seems someplace during the course of the year, they always come back to the farm. Do something, help, or just get your fingers dirty again, or smell the cows and all that. So it
Well,
is in our blood.
I can certainly understand that. How has
Yeah.
farming changed since your grandfather first established the farm?
When my grandfather was here, he had like 11 or 12 cows, and then he had some goats, chickens, and he did a lot of the farming with horses, a lot more manual labor. And now we've got 100 to 120 cows, a lot less employees. He sometimes would have 10 or 11 employees doing the farm work. Now we'll have 4 to 5 people helping, and you'll cover 10 times as much area. And it's all mechanical and stuff like that, new genetics, new breeding, new technologies and stuff like that. And kind of the ironic thing is, our farm comprises, I think it's 13 other farms that we've bought over the years. They were all small family farms, 10 or 12 cows with horses, chickens, pigs, and all that. And if you were to take all those 13 farms, add up their cows, we've got the same number of cows here today on one farm. And we haven't really gained that much. And by that I mean, used to be you could go to Gloversville, Johnstown, Mayfield, get your parts and stuff. And there was 3 milk companies for milk processing in Gloversville and Johnstown. There was a couple in Amsterdam. Now, because of the push to get bigger, 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 and more efficient, the milk will go to Albany, Schenectady, Manan, Saratoga, or our particular milk goes to New York City. But when we've got to buy parts, we've got to go to Fonda, Fultonville, we'll go to Sharon Springs, Utica, Amsterdam. So although it's gotten bigger, the farms, you haven't really gained that much. You've lost some of the family values and stuff that used to be there. But it's just a sign of the times, you know. So it's not all good, it's not all bad, but it's just a different way to look at things, how it's progressed. And probably had it not been for mechanization, we'd all be living on a small family farm still. But that's society, and that's how we've changed. So
Well,
I guess that's how it's changed.
they say that the farmers are a dying breed, and big ag
Yep,
is taking over.
yep, that's what they say. Still and for all, uh, I'm not quite sure on this number, but I think there's 10 or 15% of the farms in the country produce over half of the food and fiber that's consumed here. So that leaves the other 95% of the farms to produce the other half. And that's primarily the smaller family farms. One of the guys we do business with is, he's often said big farms are great. There's a lot of economies of size and purchasing and selling, but the waste stream that they generate is a lot bigger. Whereas with the small farms, it's a lot more quote unquote environmentally friendly. And we've noticed that, but now with some of the new rules and stuff coming, even the big farms have to go by the environmental stuff. But the factory farms are there. It's always going to be, and it's getting pushed that way because nobody generally in the younger generation wants to do the work. So the factory farms will adopt a lot of the new technologies, eliminate labor, robotics, stuff like that. And then they'll pay you better, but they make you work faster and harder. So it kind of becomes a toss-up on which way you want to go. And I kind of think that's why the niche of organic and buy local has started to catch on. Everybody doesn't really care for the big factory farms because they shortcutted everything. So that's what I would say that would be.
What advice would you give to someone that had the desire to start farming in our present culture?
I would say best thing to do is go to work for a farmer and get your feet wet. Hopefully they'll allow you to learn not only the shovel and pitchfork end of it and working in the trenches, but will allow you to get involved in some of the managerial aspects after you've had a handle on it a little bit. Then you'll understand the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, and the stresses that are involved in the business. And if you want to do it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you got to be able to understand that it's going to become a whole different way of life. And you can get time away, but day to day, you're still going to be thinking about your business. And especially if you have animals, they've got to be fed and taken care of every single day. So you're either going to be real small and do it all yourself and maybe have a sideline part-time job, or have something big enough where you can have employees do the work so that you can get some time away from the farm for yourself. But I would definitely say you should work for a farmer before you jump right in, so you can get your feet wet and understand what you're getting into. And then you'll know for sure that you want to do it.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
How do you view the future for dairy farmers like yourself?
Well, I got mixed emotions on that. It's going to be the way it has been the last few years. It's a worldwide market because of becoming a worldwide economy. So we're going to be subjected to a lot of price volatility. Case in point, a year ago I was getting paid about 40% more for my milk than I am right now today. But now they're saying about a year and a half from now, it'll go back up in price. So in the meantime, you've got to figure out a way to ride on your equity or cut costs or something like that to keep yourself going. One thing that they always preach is add more cows, get bigger, bigger, bigger. But when you're doing that, if the market's already saturated, you're actually going to shoot yourself in the foot. And the diversification or one thing that's coming is the adoption of the robots and robotic technology, GPS and tractors that drive themselves, so as to eliminate labor. That's going to become a lot more important for the future. And I think the future farmers are going to have to be a lot more computer savvy and understand how they work because of what's being developed. And it's not only going to eliminate labor, but the way a lot of the programs are developed, it's going to be a lot more environmentally friendly too. That's starting to become a big aspect of the whole farm operation. So there's a lot of changes coming. So